Okay, this last review video is going to go into a little bit more detail because multiplying decimals is something that was newer for us. I think we did it on our last day before your final. So just a reminder, when we multiply decimals, everything kind of makes sense. So we need to create a generic rectangle that has one digit on one side, and that's our 2/10. Notice I turned the decimal into a fraction. It helps keep your decimal point in the right spot. And then on this side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 digits, so I have 4 different spaces. The 4 is just a regular 4. The 3, however, is a 3/10. The 1 is a 1/100th, and the 2 is a 2,000th. When we multiply, I get 4 times 2 is 8/10. 3 times 2 is 6, and 10 times 10 is 100. 1 times 2 is 2, and 10 times 100 is 1,000. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. Okay, so it's really nice when we write our decimal now, because after the decimal point we have our 10th spot, we have our 100th spot, we have our 1,000th spot, and we have our 10,000th spot, and you just look for what number belongs there. The number that belongs in the 10th spot is 8. The number that belongs in the 100th spot is 6. Number that belongs in the 1,000th spot is 2, and the number that belongs in the 10,000th spot is 4. So this is a good way to know where the decimal point goes, because we know how to turn fractions into decimals. We've been doing that for a while, and we're pretty good at it. Not all the problems are quite this straightforward, though. There can be some that have more decimals or more whole numbers, and there's a little bit of tricks to them. So I'm going to show you this one. The rectangle that I'm creating is a 2 by 2 because each of my numbers has 2 digits to it. So I have a 2 and a 7/10. Then I have a 3 and a 2/10 that I'm squeezing in there. So the 3 times 2 is 6. That's lovely. 2 times 2 is 4/10. 3 times 7 is 21/10. And then 2 times 7 is 14. And they both have denominators, so 10 times 10 is 100. Now, 3 of these numbers are really straightforward, and one of them is a little bit different than the rest of them. The one that's different is actually, it's not this 6 right here. I know it looks a little bit different, but it's actually the 21/10, and we will get to that. But we do from here is we start converting back to decimal form, and we add all 4 numbers up. So taking care of the 6 first, just going to put my 6 there. 4/10, going to turn it back into a decimal. I know that I need a 0/10 attached to the 6. So I get a 4/10. 14/100 looks like this. And this one is different specifically because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And when that happens, a lot of people try to write 21/10, but that's not 21/10, that's 21/100 because it ends in the 100th spot. So that's not going to work. What we have to do is we actually have to turn it into a mixed number and then into a decimal. So we've been working with turning fractions greater than 1 into mixed numbers. We divide, we fit in twice, and there's 1 left over. So that would mean that our mixed number would be 2 and 1/10, and we know how to write that as a decimal. It's 2 and 1/10. So that's our final number to add in. We're all good. So if we add in some missing zeros, get 4, 6, 8. Thing's not writing my decimal point. It's really annoying. There we go. Okay, so then we would have our answer of 8 and 64/100. Now, some of you have a method where you are lining them up vertically, multiplying and then moving the decimal however many times there are. That method works. It absolutely gets you the right answer, and you will be not only able to, but expected to use it in the future. However, we haven't necessarily talked about it yet. So I want to see this method right here. I want to see that at least 3 times on your paper that you're getting today. Just so I know that you're aware of why the decimal point goes where it does, because that's something that's really important to me as a teacher, and it should be important to you as a student.